Hey guys, Brett here. So tonight I'm taking a look at JVZoo Academy, and I've actually had access to this for quite a while. JVZoo Academy, as you could probably guess by the name, is a training system that teaches you how to make money with JVZoo. Now, this is something that I actually am really interested in just because I use JVZoo. I make a lot of money on the JVZoo network, both as an affiliate and as a product vendor. So when I saw that there was an official training for JVZoo coming out, and this is an official training, it's something that JVZoo has endorsed and has also commissioned to get created. But when I heard that there was an official training for JVZoo coming out, I was really interested in it and I was really excited to take a look at it. Now, there are some really good things about this product and there are some really bad things about this product. Now, before I get to the good stuff and talk about the things that I actually like, I'm just going to get the things that I don't like about this right off my chest right from the beginning. So when JVZoo Academy first started, it was actually a $197 product. They were going to charge $197 for the entire training system. This actually changed about a week or two ago, where they changed the price to $17 for the front end. And the reason they did that is, I guess they thought that the $197 price would scare away some people just getting started. They would see that huge price tag and they would run for the hills and try to take off and not be interested in buying a $197 front end product. So what they did was they really stripped the training down and they have it set at $17 for the front end. And then the better training, the more in-depth training, the more advanced training is $197 as an OTO. The problem I have though is they stripped it down. I personally wish they would have just left it at a $197 price tag and kept everything right in the front end. But the way they have it now is they stripped it down to kind of like its bare bones. And I can understand why they stripped it down to its bare bones because they're charging a very low front end price. But they stripped it down to its bare bones and almost gotten to the point where they've taken a lot of the valuable stuff away from it. So let me go ahead and actually show you what you get for the $17. This is front end access here that I have right now. I actually asked them for front end access. They originally gave me the OTO access. So what you get for your $17 is you go here, you click on start here, and you get these training modules on the left hand side. And you can actually see there's a lot of training modules, and it looks initially like there's a lot of content here. The problem is if you see, they're very short. So here's one that's 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Here's one that's 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Here's one that's 54 seconds. This one's 30 seconds. This one's 1 minute. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen, there are videos and there's some text. And occasionally they'll give you like a little handout. Occasionally there'll be text. The text just seems to be a transcription of what Sam is actually saying in the video. So there's not a lot more in the text generally than what's in the video. So what happens is, the front end training is actually very basic. I'll be totally honest. This is like a really good intro, but there's not that much actionable content in this front end training. That's something I was really uncomfortable with for a while. I was actually really debating if I wanted to endorse this, if I wanted to promote this, if I wanted to say I like this, because they stripped the training down so much. Again, I understand why they did it. They were worried that $197 would scare people away, but I really, really wish they just had the front end be $197, and that's that. Because my big thing is that the front end product has to have value on its own. You shouldn't have to buy the OTO. Fortunately, though, even though that this training kind of frankly didn't impress me too much, there is some stuff that I found that was very valuable on the front end. So if you actually go over here, you can see it says recent interviews. And there's a recent interview here by Brian Zimmerman. This is the one that's showing right now. If you go ahead and click view all recent interviews, you can see there are several interviews right here. There's actually one by me. There's me smiling at you right there. I did an interview with Sam for his product. So what you get for the $7 front end, besides that very basic training that quite frankly doesn't have a ton of actionable content in it, you also get 5 of these interviews. Now, I'm not sure which 5 that you're going to get. Assuming that they're going to give them in order, you're going to get Brian Zimmerman, Luke McGuire, which incidentally, I watched Luke's interview. That was a great interview. I learned a lot myself from that. You're going to get my interview, Brett Rutecky, and you're going to get Chris Munch. Chris Munch is a brilliant guy. I met him in Vegas. Very smart guy, very worth listening to. So you'll get these interviews. I'm sorry, you also get Delilah Taylor. Apparently, I can't count to five. So you'll actually get these 5 interviews in the front end. So why I don't think the training that you get with JVZoo Academy is worth the $17 front end price, I do think getting these 5 interviews from Brian Zimmerman, one of the founders and CEOs of JVZoo, from Luke McGuire, who has done some massive launches and is brilliant in marketing, from Brett Rutecky, who I kind of think is a pretty cool guy, from Chris Munch, who again is a legend in the eye of business, and from Delilah Taylor, who is a very personable and very talented person. I think getting those interviews and getting insight from those people is worth the $17. I mean, you figure at $17, you're getting 5 interviews from top affiliates and top vendors who are explaining how they started and how they run their business. That means you're paying like what? $3 an interview, $3.20 to watch an interview. That's a pretty good deal to get this kind of content, because frankly, you're not going to find many cases where people are going to be able to go ahead and talk to you and explain to you personally how they started their business. It's just not practical. But this way, you can actually get some real information and some real tips from some top affiliate marketers and some top vendors on the JVZoo network. So for that reason, I'm actually going to say that JVZoo Academy in its current front-end version is so stripped down that the training might not be worth picking it up for. If you go ahead here to this Start Here section again, as I said, there's a lot of training modules, but they're very basic, they're very generic, they're not very step-by-step. I think that the training on the front end is not something you should buy JVZoo Academy for. What I do think you should buy JVZoo Academy for, at least as far as the front end goes, is the interviews. I think the interviews are well worth picking up, and they're well worth the $17 price tag. Now, all of that being said, I don't have the OTO access here showing, but I actually did have the OTO access at one point. All of that being said, if you want good training, if you want very step-by-step detailed training, then you should strongly consider the OTO. The OTO is a little bit pricey. It's $197, but it is excellent training. It's much better than any of the other training systems I've seen out there. And frankly, I kind of wish that they just had that on the front end. But as I said, I understand why they made it be an upgrade, because they didn't want to scare people away with the initial front end price. For this reason, JVZoo Academy is actually unique in that I'm going to say, if you pick this up, it's something that you really should consider the OTOs for. The front end is good, not for the training. It's good for those interviews. It's good for the interviews with top marketers and top affiliates, and getting the opportunity to look into their business and look at how they start and run their business is well worth $17. But if you want good training, if you want very detailed training with actionable content, you're going to need to pick up the $197 OTO. Now, maybe you're not going to want to pay that much. Maybe you're going to be happy with just the interviews, and that's fine. If you're happy with just the interviews, that's fine. Or if you don't even want the interviews or anything at all, that's fine. My goal here is to give you insight so you can make an informed purchase decision, not to try to trick you into buying. But I just wanted to be very clear about this in a video. I'm going to write about it in the text of this post as well, that the training on the front end isn't so great. The interviews are excellent and are well worth the front end price. That is why you pick up the front end product for the interviews. If you want in-depth detailed training, step by step, walk you through everything, you're going to need the OTO. It is a little bit pricey, but I mean, you are starting a business here, you are investing in your future, and they are done very well on OTO 1. It's worth investing in if you want step by step walk through instructions that you can take action on. Alrighty guys, thank you for listening and enjoy.